Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Men who abstain from sex in relationships. And this was brought to you by the generous donation of a young man. And he got a lot going on for him, I give him that. And he wanted me to address this issue because you really, I know Rom is big on sex, but you get some men who consciously abstain from having sex with a woman at least right away. And, I talked a few days ago about the whole intelligentsia and bohemian split. But this is what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about if it's like just on some fear thing and all of that. But I'm just talking about it on yet another level, more of they doing this willfully. And it might not be a permanent thing anyway. But they just making a conscious decision to do it. And that conscious decision could be for one of several reasons. One, it could be because of their spiritual beliefs. And that's a big reason why they might feel like, they don't want to have sex before marriage. They honoring their particular path to deity. And that's cool, as long as it's conscious, as long as it's not informed by fear or anything. Like they might have consciously. In fact, they could have been the type who could have been wild and crazy when they were younger. You'll get that. You'll get that with some players, especially the ones that started off real young. They were out there doing the crazy stuff and went through a lot of craziness, but then maybe have a spiritual conversion or something and decide, no, I ain't doing this anymore. And that happens. That happens. People shift. They don't, that's one of the things. Some people, and I said this before when I talked about the intelligentsia and bohemian split, some people just do a shift based on some type of trauma or something, right? And it's still not a fear, but it's a conscious thing. Like, you know what? I don't want to live like this, And that's one thing. Another one that could be more prevalent is a man is smart and he wants to get to know the woman. Let me say that again. Despite what some people think, there's some men, they have enough willpower and enough experience or whatever the reason, and they realize, I want to see what's up before I get this woman this D. And it's not impossible. Let me go off on a little tangent. Pimps do that. Let me say that again. Pimps do that. And many people recognize pimps as being top of the game, quote unquote game. Right? But they'll manage women and everything, but the only time they'll have sex with one of the women, most of them have sex with them, is if the woman does something. She has to earn it. But part of their thing is they can be extremely disciplined like that, right? So if they can do it, other men might do it too, because they might want to see, okay, all right, I want to do this with this woman, but I need to see what's up with her. I don't want to have a baby with her. I need to see what's up with her. I need to see how much discipline. Also, that's also an aspect, actually, of what I've talked about before, sex transmutation. Of course, there's an aspect of, having sex with the woman to raise your energy and stuff, but then also being aroused by that woman. And this is the toughest one, letting that woman arouse you and then converting that energy. Now, that's tough. But some people do that. And, it's myriad reasons. I mean, I'm just throwing out some general stuff. But it's something that happened. Now, like I said, a big thing is that sex transmutation thing, even if they're not familiar with the term. Because what usually men who are like that, they just focused on other things. Like legitimately focused. And they still want a relationship. They still want the other stuff. But, they realize, okay, I don't want this to be the main thing of it. It's important. It's important. But, and usually in those situations, they don't go through the whole relationship, but they might, especially when they first meet somebody. It's like, let me see what's up with this person first. And even some more advanced players, womanizers, might do that with some women. And when I say advanced, it's like they're a little bit older and they're not pressed to get with the woman. Because one thing, many men are thirsty. So as soon as that woman even show a little bit she's interested in having sex, they'll have sex with her. But see, the woman, you get some men, they are beyond that point. They can get sex easily. And see, that's another thing too. A lot of men who might practice that are the types who can get it. and they might abstain, might not chase women or something for brief periods. I've met some men who are into the advanced level, like the Tantra and sacred sexuality. They'll go through maybe a period they don't do anything. Like I've known some men who went through like maybe 90-day periods where they don't bother with any women or, even be in a relationship with a woman and just say, look, I'm just doing this. This is a purpose. It really is that sex transmutation piece that's a big part of all of it, And it don't mean anything wrong with them. In fact, that means they truly have the will. Now, here's the thing, because I know someone could hear this and feel like they not having sex and stuff and, it's their will, but then they have to differentiate that from having some underlying sexual fears. Because that's actually a big problem with a lot of men that's not talked about. And I'm going to touch on this briefly. I might do a full video or podcast rather on it on another time. But you get some men, they afraid of, they have some type of fear with regard to sex. It could be anything from their level of performance to their genital size. And that's a real thing. But see, that's still a fear. When I'm talking about abstaining, true abstination from sex needs to be based on the man's will. Like he's doing that so he's not bothering with any women for a period or even in a relationship or waiting to get to know her or something like that. Like some men do it. I know some women, they think, oh, these guys just chasing sex, and they don't have any control. And yeah, that's true for many men. But you get some, especially the ones who take the man to raise their consciousness to a superior man level. The sex is under their terms. I mentioned pimps. Like I said, a lot of people don't realize that one thing about pimps, And also, a man might decide he wants to, like, at least practice that so he can't be manipulated through his penis. It's several reasons. Whatever the case, it has to be a conscious thing, not something based on fear, but like will, like certain periods, certain times, certain things. And you know what? It can even be in situations where the dude's not necessarily abstaining in relationships, but when he meets certain women, he's not controlled by his dick when he meets them. The woman can't play the pussy card on him. Many men are, it's like someone said, a few people have said about even many men who call themselves red pill or something. Many are just one blowjob away. So they really haven't mastered blowjob away from becoming blue pill again, going back to the plantation, so to speak. See, that whole thing has to be based on will, choice. And then when you're dealing with the woman, a man who can master control of his penis, but still have full access, can still feel it. Shit, he takes away her trump card. Then he can really look at her and see who she is. And then he can also focus on his life purpose. But it has to be a will thing. It can't be a fear thing. That's the one thing. It got to be a fear thing. So a man to do it properly, he need to be comfortable with his own sexuality. Including his ability to perform and his penis size. And for those who are concerned about that, the woman's vagina is like 4 inches, typical. And really to turn her on, to really, is more about girth anyway, because her primary sexual apparatus is more up front. Basically, you can stick the head in. Because her G-spot's right, like, kind of, it ain't exactly under her clitoris, but they are connected. It's kind of to the side just a bit, right? Oops, that might be a whole other conversation. Anyway, as long as you got decent girth, or really you turn her on enough, you can make a squirt with a finger. But I'm just saying that I'm just even sharing that information so guys can get off of that thing, get off the fear factor. If you want to abstain, it needs to be because you're focused on projects, going someplace, want to get the woman, and then really having conscious direction on where your penis is going. So that's the main thing. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I want to thank the young man for sending me a donation to ask about that question. So anyway, y'all have a good day now. Peace.